Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the Constantly Consistent podcast. We're on episode 4, which is great, and we're going international today. So I'm very grateful and happy to have my friend Nelli, all the way from Finland, join us. And she's an awesome competitor, professional in the space, and has some really great wisdom and little nuggets to share for our listeners. And today we're going to talk about Nelli's background and how, specifically her Olympic weightlifting background, and how that helps with CrossFit. And then we'll actually learn a little bit more about the Finnish culture. I have some questions there, which will be cool. And so we'll go from there. So Nelli, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm
it's our
excited.
pleasure. Yeah, we'll have a great time. So I always like to start with a really easy question, kind of get the nerves out and let you talk about yourself. First, I would say let's deal with what do you do, right? For like coaching wise, and then we can kind of go from there. So like, what's your job? What do you do for a living?
Yeah, so I'm a CrossFit coach. I'm a part owner of the gym where I coach. I coach classes daily or like weekly, but been trying to limit the amount of hours I work with the actual like work in classes. So I do a lot of like behind the scenes stuff at the gym. So like I'm responsible for our like customer service, partly sales, marketing,
Yeah, everything.
everything. No,
Yeah.
I mean like there's a lot of things to do on my table. But still I want to like I love coaching, so I want to coach like daily to also like see and meet our clients at the gym. So I want to be there like with them. So still coaching as well. And then I do some one-on-one coaching and programming remotely and also like at the gym one-on-one coaching. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's great. So you're trying to be more like hands off. I understand. Yeah. Right. So you can kind
Yeah,
of
it
grow the
just
gym.
helps with the daily and weekly schedule to not be tied with the like exact times where I need to like be at the gym, so I can do more stuff remotely and from home with computer, which is also like taxing to just like do the computer stuff.
Up here.
but
Yeah,
like
you're
it
mentally.
but it helps with I like to like start my mornings easy, which means for me that I can uh like wake up, have an hour at home, just like relax and take it easy and then open my laptop and start working. So I don't want to like rush from the door straight after waking up. So I like to like start the day at home with some like computer stuff, and then I'll go to training, then I'll go to coaching, then I probably come home, eat lunch, go back to training, and then stay for coaching. So it's yeah, long days, but still it's easy when you can like choose when you do and what you do.
Yeah, no, I think that's like I see myself in a lot of what you do. I only train once currently. Maybe we'll change that with Sam. But I'm at the gym. I'm at the gym right now. I'm at the gym all day, so I relate. AM, PM, afternoon sessions. So you have to love it, and I know you love it. And that's kind of it's good to be and talk with other people in the space because you realize we're all doing the same thing. You know, you're in Finland, I'm in New
Yeah.
Jersey, but it's the same thing. So that's really great. And
Yeah.
I think that was a great let's say like segue into CrossFit, which is right, kind of what we're talking about. Like so I'm curious, how did you get into CrossFit? You know, everyone has the story of how they
Yeah.
started.
It was 2014. I was still playing basketball. Like I come from basketball, so I was still playing. And one of my teammates asked me to join the free trial class at the local CrossFit gym. I'd never heard about it. I guess I like Googled like what
Yeah.
what is CrossFit, and it looked exciting and like fun, and I wanted to try it. I had always been like I've been very like athletic in basketball. I was always the one who enjoyed the most actually all the other stuff than the basketball. Like
Mm.
I wasn't like of course I was like good player, and I liked the game, but like my favorite training sessions were the ones at the like the weight room, or then just like we did a lot of like running intervals or like sprints or like hill sprints or whatever. So I enjoyed this part the most, I guess. And I only realized it after I quit basketball.
Yeah.
Like once I
Yeah.
found CrossFit, I realized like okay, like this is what I've been actually like enjoying the most the whole time. So yeah, I tried the CrossFit at the free trial class, and then soon after that, the same teammate of mine sent me a message that like if like I found the starters course here nearby, like should we go? And then we
Hmm.
went, and fast forward, here we are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. I think you told me you played basketball. I forgot. That's great. You know, it's very similar. My friend Joe, who I talked to, I told you about, he played football and the same thing. He like football. I think there's a little bit American football. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know you're, but he was really into the weights, and I think that was like his segue. And then was it just one of those things where it's like you just never stopped, like since 2014, you just kind of like
Yeah.
went.
Yeah, and for me it was like with the basketball. Well, there was like a lot of going on in our club and like the team. Yeah, it was like I was struggling with finding like motivation to continue.
Mhm.
And like I'll say like I was like one of the best in our team.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was like our team captain, and I felt like not everybody else was like so. Because always like if I do something, I'm like all in. Like I want to do
Yeah.
everything like properly, and like so for me it was hard to like not feel that everybody was like as like
Mhm.
not everybody put as much effort as I did. So it was hard for me, and then I was like figuring out if I should like switch teams. But it for me it would have meant that I would need to move somewhere else, like away from my hometown.
Mm.
So then it was like, and just in the right moment, I found found CrossFit, and it's funny that like the gym where I went to have the starters course, it's the gym where I'm still coaching
Wow.
and which I'm owning right now. So that's like awesome.
Wow. Really interesting. Isn't that's cool, right? It like works out in that way. Even so at this gym, the same thing. This is my second gym because I had moved, but I started at my gym now as a member. And I'm kind of worked my way up to with the owner. I do the programming, I help with the coaching, the development. I don't own it, so that's one thing you have. Besides the owning it, like I am helping with the operations, and we're trying to grow the gym. So it's really interesting how these things just
Yeah.
work. Yeah,
But
so
like,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I had no idea like what like of course like I had no idea what would like happen in the future. It was just like me wanting to try something new. Yeah, it would be crazy to go back to 2014, 15 when I was just like at the beginning of this journey to like if somebody would tell me what's to come, that would like just blow my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's crazy to think now.
That's awesome. Now, so you have the CrossFit. How does the weightlifting tie into that? Did you do that before? Did that come in later? So how did that come into the play?
Yeah, it's like that's funny because like I think like you, for example, even though we know each other, I think like you think that I like a weightlifter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did weightlifting before CrossFit, but no, like I don't consider myself as a weightlifter. I'm
Uh-huh.
just a CrossFitter who likes
Ah.
to lift weights.
Yeah.
For me, it came like in my gym. We've always like since I started or since I visited them first, we've always like have a lot of weightlifting in our programming. And
Mm.
I think it comes from that we had who was like coaching in our CrossFit gym, but who was a weightlifting coach as well and a weightlifter.
Yeah.
So he brought it that into our gym, and since that we always have like weightlifting included in our weekly
Ah.
programming once a week. Still, like I do our programming now once a week. We always have snatch and we always have clean and jerk, and then on top of that, we have like a one specific day when we only do weightlifting. So it's always been like a big part in my gym, and of
Mm.
course, because when I started, we started to learn it with the weightlifting coach. So I learned it right away, the right way, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and also I remember that for me it was like for example snatching. It was like natural, or like it felt easy for me. It was easy for me to like catch the
Yeah.
movement,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and to like learn and understand what's going on, and I like liked it.
Mhm.
since I first started. So I guess that's also like a big part that like when I first started to do snatches and clean and jerks, I felt like it was nice and I liked to do it and I wanted to like learn more and do better and do more. So yeah, it was just something that I really enjoyed. And then because of that, one coach that we had, he tried to like encourage me and some other girls or boys to do like weightlifting comps or like weightlifting meets just to
Wow.
like to see how the sport is. And we did like back then 2015, 16, 17 in Finland lifting wasn't like so big. It wasn't so big, the sport. So like for me as a starter, just as a CrossFitter, I was still like hitting solid numbers across the field.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, there's a couple of things. So that's helpful. Now I know a little bit more about it. I think as a compliment to you, your weightlifting is very polished or it's very good, as a compliment to you. So I assume that you had a background in it, which is great. So I know you just did the European Championship, right? Was that so
Yeah.
did you have to qualify for that? Can you even tell me and whoever listens, like what exactly was that, and what did like yeah, how did you train for that, and was there a qualification for that?
Yeah, like to be honest,
Yeah.
like I don't follow the Finnish weightlifting scheme that much to really be able to like tell you the whole process how it
Yeah,
goes, but I
sure.
just know that
But
I
you
I
did.
had done a couple of lifting meets here in Finland, which were like official meets, and the numbers that I had hit were enough for the European Championships for the Finnish Weightlifting Federation. The qualifying categories, like the numbers you need to hit, so you are like eligible for having the spot. But
Hmm.
then, like for the ones who have hit those numbers, they will see that who has the like the best kilos
Yep.
lifted.
Yep.
So yeah, I did just enough for like having the spot for my weight category, which is actually was like one category higher than I would normally do. But I guess there was no other lifters
Uh-huh.
willing to go. I think there was like one or two girls who had like better kilos lifted
Yeah.
than me,
Yeah.
but they didn't want to go, or couldn't go, or were injured, or I don't know. So then,
Hmm.
yeah, I had an opportunity to take the spot. So I did. I thought it was something like one for the books type
Yeah.
of thing for me. Yeah.
It looked cool from Instagram. Yeah. So was that you're like on that scale? Would you compare it to like a CrossFit competition? Like there's a lot of pressure, right? There's a lot of people watching you. I'm sure you were nervous, I've lifted for CrossFit, and like I've hit some decent lifts in competitions, but like I've never done Olympic weightlifting where it's like everyone is watching you do the snatch or the clean and jerk. So yeah, what was that like? Were you nervous? How was that experience being on the
Dude,
platform?
it's so different. Like, you cannot even compare.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, for me, especially like now this year, it's like for me the beginning of the year was a little bit like I was struggling. So for me to like shift my focus to weightlifting for a month, it was only like I think we did like 4 week
Yeah.
weightlifting
Like prep.
block
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, with Sam. It was like yeah, because I didn't know that I was going. I think it was like 5 weeks before the actual competition. So for me, it came just in the right time to shift
Hmm.
focus from CrossFit, and like I was having like a pressure on qualifying for certain competitions and wasn't feeling good and was
Hmm.
had been like ill. Like I hadn't been healthy. So yeah, it was a great moment to shift focus for that. And I think because of that, for me at this time, it was like I wasn't nervous at all. I'm being honest. Like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me, it
yeah.
was like I think it was the most relaxed competition that I've had because I had like zero pressure. I knew that the girls who were like competing for the medals that they would be snatching my clean and jerk weights. So
Yeah.
I had like I had zero pressure on on the leaderboard. It
Hmm.
was just like I wanted to hit the kilos that I knew that I have in me. Yeah, it was different. So,
Yeah.
but of course, like weightlifting, the pressure you have, like stepping to the platform and you only had the one shot, or like, yes, you have 3 shots, but you want to make each one of them. So it's very different because like in CrossFit, usually you have like a time window where you need to hit. So probably if you fail the first, you can like repeat it and do it again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, it was
Like
different.
I love the sport of weightlifting. It is like the pressure you have and the how much you need to like fine tune the little things on the lifts to make it. It's yeah, like it's
Yeah, the perfect segue. Well, there's a couple of ways I want to go. So myself, just because you just helped me kind of wrap my head around it, I think weightlifting is really cool. Like for that exact reason, it's all those little things. It's focus, and it's like if you're like at this much off, you could miss the lift. So I think, and as a coach in CrossFit, not everyone's a great lifter, and that was kind of why I wanted to talk to you. Which I think this is a great introduction or a segue into that is like I know your competitive history. So I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but Nelli in the CrossFit space is a 2-time individual semifinalist or regionals for the old school people out in Europe, which is highly impressive, very, very difficult to do. And I tell a story. Nelli's coach is my friend, also my coach and my mentor. And I was doing a case study on Nelli because I like CrossFit and I want to work with high level athletes. And long story short, part of my study was to look at Nelli's performances on this elite level and basically assess it and figure out a training plan to help her improve hypothetically. So where I'm going with this was Nelli's Olympic weightlifting or like weightlifting scores, because that's usually a score in the sport of CrossFit, were they were good. They were higher up on the leaderboard. Whereas we all have things to work on. But something that stuck out to me was her weightlifting numbers were really good and relative to the field. So that's why I wanted to talk to you, which I think is a great question. Is like, and answer this any way you want. How do you feel like your weightlifting, not even just the most recent competition, but like training with your coach, right? Your Olympic weightlifting coach, in the culture of your gym, has helped you with success in CrossFit, because weightlifting is so big in our sport, but I don't think a lot of people give it the respect it deserves. So yeah, how do you feel like that's helped you in your performance?
yeah, I think it for sure it has helped a lot with the aspect of CrossFit having such a such a big part of the sport is based on like moving with the barbell. So just like being familiar with the barbell, and then especially with the snatch and clean and jerk, which most often in competitions they show up in some way. So just to like be efficient and like smooth and not having to like think about too much about the like if it's a like workout where you need to move fast and you have like a heavy snatches for example, so that you don't need to like focus for
Yeah.
that lift to make it. You just like go and lift it and you will make it. So just to like make it feel easy and smooth and like that it's just like riding the bike riding the bike, so you
Yeah.
just know that you can do it. So I think that's been like big part for me. That's why it has helped. It's like the technique is somewhere so deep in you, so you just like you don't need to really do anything.
Yeah, like think about it. You just
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. So I think that, and then about the weightlifting meets and like competing in weightlifting, which actually I haven't compete a lot in weightlifting. I've just like every year I do like a couple of meets, I guess.
Yeah.
But just to like at the weightlifting, when you go to the platform, you usually have like the waiting time, like the time between the lifts is quite long. Of course, it depends on the competition and how many competitors there is in that
Yeah.
weight class. But like you usually need to wait like 5 to 10 minutes between the lifts. So after all, like before I thought that it's very different than in CrossFit. But now as I think about it, like in CrossFit, if you have a lifting event, you need to line up like 10 to 15 minutes before the event starts, and you might have only like 3 attempts at the floor. So it's pretty similar after all, like in that format. But of course, in CrossFit there can be different types of lifting events, so it depends a lot. But like you also learn by doing weightlifting competitions, you learn to like rest longer between the lifts, and you still have to make it. Of course, you can do like at the warm-up area, you can go and do like a lighter lift in between the actual platform lifts. But anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. Now, when you and I love to ask this, do you have a routine, or like, so if you're snatching for the day or you're clean and jerking for the day?
Well, you already know the answer. You do, right?
I was like, I know, like, what is your routine? Because I have a routine. I do the same snatch warm up every time. Doesn't matter if I'm going medium, light, heavy. And the reason I do it is, to your point, I want to practice over and over and make it automatic. So like when I'm lifting heavy, right, like I want to hit it. But yeah, like what is your, for those listening, like your routine when you go to snatch? Or I'm talking about empty bar, not leading up to the bar. Like you just got into the gym and you did your mobility. Now before you put load on the bar, how do you warm up your snatch or your clean?
I don't use a lot of time with the empty barbell. I'm pretty straightforward.
Really?
So like I do the warm up and maybe some like mobility stuff. Depends on like how my body is feeling. Like when I get to the barbell, I probably do like some like behind the neck snatch grip presses and maybe some like hip snatches, probably like few muscle snatches, overhead squats. But then after that, it's for me, it's like I put the 10s on, I put the 20s on, and then I start to build. So I don't do like that much with the empty barbell, but just a few reps to like get a feeling.
Fascinating. Okay, maybe I have to do a little less. Well, I don't just spend that much time, but I go through my like snatch balances, pressing snatch, like, but I get it. But also, I feel like you're at a point now. You mean you've been doing it now over 10 years, so right, all that stuff is automatic. Go ahead.
Yeah, but then like tip for everybody: once you start putting weights on your barbell, do every lift as you would do if it was like a heavier load. So like you want to lift as well, or like do it as good as you can with the smaller plates or like smaller weights as well, because those are like really like if you think like how many warm-ups you have done for like in your life.
Yeah.
So if you do every warm-up rep as good as you can, like you have like zillions of good repetitions in just there as well. Because I think I see at the gym, I see many not like taking their warm-up reps as seriously, or like just lifting the bar without like really trying to do it well or just to get it done. So I think you need to do that well as well to like progress the technique and to do well with the heavier loads as well.
Yeah.
And I also like I record like almost every warm-up lift as well, and like after the session or sometimes during the session as well, I like to like scroll them through and like see how it looks, and like maybe do some corrections before moving onto the heavier bar.
See, I knew I would learn something. So I don't do that. I film the top ones, right? The big lifts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you
that's
film the one you wish you hit, and then you maybe hit it and maybe don't, but then you don't have any videos of your snatches, or you have the one which is not that good and you don't want to actually like learn from that.
That's so good. Yeah, I gotta do that. Okay, because I'll do like the high weights, or like the cool ones for Instagram and for myself. But there's a lot of value I could see in like looking at your sub-maximal, right? Like
Yeah, and maybe like see at what point or like at what weight you start to do something differently, or like how does it look at like 70% versus 90%? Maybe what you need to like do to make them look the same.
yeah, great. All right, cool. Thanks, coach. Now I got something too. I could work on. Awesome. So the next thing I want to talk about, and like the competing in the sport itself. You said something earlier, and I know this because you and I are friends and we've spoke about it offline. You know, you had mentioned you were going through a time where you felt like there was a lot of pressure, whether that was, you know, from yourself or from other people, and then getting away from the sport and doing weightlifting actually helped that. I feel pressure, and you know, and I seen this in a nice way. Like, you're someone who's I look up to as well. Like, you're a lot more further along in the sport. You inspire me. I want to be right at your level, and I deal with pressure myself. I know everyone deals with pressure. So yeah, if you're okay with talking about it, like, how did you deal with, or how do you deal with that pressure to compete at the highest level? Because it's when you're competing at semifinals or Wadapalooza at the elite level, it's much different than if I'm doing my like Friday afternoon workout and no one cares. You know? So like, how do you work on that?
I think like after all, no matter what's the level, the pressure is always, it's us who put the pressure. Like nobody else like kind of like waits anything from me, or like of course like the people I'm working with and the people who are like my support group, they wish that I do well and they believe that I do well, but like nobody puts the pressure on me. It's me and it's in my head.
Right.
It's like, well, of course, like we're competitors and we put a lot of time and effort and we want that it pays off. So when you have had a goal, or like you set a goal, obviously you want to achieve it. Like, even though I know, like I'm trying to like think that I don't try to think the goal. I'm trying to like think what I can do like each and every day in my training sessions to get where I want to. And that's like more important than like achieving the actual goal. But then for me, for example, like earlier this year, I had like being in Miami after the Wadapalooza, like I fell sick in Wadapalooza.
Yeah.
And that stayed with me for a long period of time, still during the Open, and then during the European semifinal qualifiers, I was still not like, I was not completely healthy. I was still like having the flu going on.
Yeah.
It was hard for me because I felt like that I have to and I need to do all of this because I've decided that I will do it. So it was so hard for me to like let go of my goals, because those were like the goals I have set for me for this year. So then at that moment, knowing that if I don't do the qualifiers or if I don't qualify, like that's it for my season. So that's why it was hard, because I felt like I need to do well and I didn't let myself do any less, even though everything said that I just cannot hit the same level at the moment, because I was very unfit at that point. But still something in my head was like, I need to do better and I need to get I need to get good scores. And obviously with the level, how high it is at the moment, now if I'm looking back, it was just like stupid. Like, why did I even try? Like I cannot make it to top 20 or top 40 in those qualifiers if I'm not okay. So all that, it got really badly into my head, and I wasn't like, it was just like a mental battle. And then I think because of all that, I just like hit the wall at some point. I was like trying to push through it with like no sense, and then just hit the wall finally. Yeah. So it's so funny to like talk about now afterwards, because everything seems so like, I feel so stupid, honestly. It was like stupid thing to do. Yeah. But like in this moment, you just want to hit your goals and you want to get there, and you just think that like, if I like just like do a miracle, then I will thank myself come the competition time. But like the miracle didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, now too, what you're saying is like, you know, you're laughing at it, right? Or you're smiling and happy. It's like, you're like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, in the moment, I do the same thing. I'm like, qualifiers. Where am I on the leaderboard? Oh no, I'm not. I don't feel great. Blah blah blah. And it just like, I look back at it too. I'm like, what was the biggie? Like, I know, like I had reached out to you, like, you know, after the Open and after Wadapalooza, and was like, you know, how do you deal with this? And like, I'm at like such a different place now in a good way. And like, that stuff, not that it did matter, right? Because it's like, it was important. It is important to me, and I wanted to do well. But to your point, it doesn't, like, it's part of it, and it's either you have it or you don't. And I think it's like we could do so much better, myself included, if we take that pressure off. Like, you still
Yeah.
want to do well, but it's not like the end of the world, because
Yeah,
we're going
that,
to do another one, right? We're going to do
yeah.
another competition, hopefully.
Yeah. The weightlifting competition for me, like the Europeans, it was a perfect example of how fun and how good it feels to compete when you don't put any pressure on yourself. And for me, like when I was there, I was like, I want to feel like that the next time I enter the CrossFit competition for, because it was so different and it's so much more relaxing, it's so much more fun, like everything around it is just like you can really enjoy the people and the, yeah, it's just, but I know it's hard but I like, that's something that I want to aim for. And yeah. And about the open, I don't think I've ever quit a qualifier workout like in between the workout, but the last open workout for me this year, like I restarted it for 5 times. It was like I was like, I'm still, something in me was like, I need to finish this, and I need to do this. And now when I look back, it was like, why I just like didn't let it go after like first couple attempts. It was such a big like mental battle for me. Like I wasn't even like exhausted after I finished the last row. It was like a what was it, like 60-calorie row or something at
50,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah. But you finish, you're like, eh.
Yeah, and I was just like, I remember just, I was just sitting on the rower, like barely even breathing heavy, and just like I was empty. I was just like sitting there, like looking at the screen and like kind of happy that I finished it, but it was, yeah, I was awful. I didn't want to ever feel like that again.
Yeah, I know. I think it's like you said, we put that pressure on ourselves. Plus, the open is like the open,
Yeah,
the leaderboard, right? And you know, I think you're similar to me, where it's like we view ourselves in a certain way, which is good, but also it's like no one really cares, right?
yeah,
You know, it's like
exactly. Yeah,
and I say like I think I've had my worst open finish to date. Just it just happened.
yeah,
Like
me too, because of the last
yeah, mine
workout.
was because of the first workout. And I remember, Sam said this to me. He was like, "You need to be okay with failing." And I was like, like I'm not mad, but when he said that, I was like, "Why?" But then there was, as always, he's like,
Mm,
wise teacher, wise Sam, dad.
yeah,
I did fail that first workout, objectively, like subjectively speaking. And what I learned from it was like, didn't matter. No one cared. It was me. I put the pressure on myself. I put so much emphasis on the leaderboard. And I really learned from that point. It freed me up. It's like, because I was so afraid of posting a bad time. And I
yeah,
did relative to where I've been. So I don't mean disrespect to anyone. You know what I mean by that? Like, I meant like for where I thought I would be, it wasn't where I wanted to be.
mm,
And like, it wasn't that scary. Like, I was
yeah,
upset for a day or two, and then life moves on. And, knock on wood, I've moved on and have done better in other qualifiers. But I think it helped take that fear away of like, okay, you might not do well in a workout, and people will
yeah,
see you to be vulnerable. Like, I remember like I'm looking out there, like my whole gym community saw it, and I thought it would be like they're gonna be like, oh, that's our coach, and like no one cared. Like they were
okay.
just like, yeah, so like that reminder of it's just pressure that we put on ourselves.
Yeah, and in this sport, because it has so many different aspects and so many different types of tests, that you like always somebody will be better than you, like always. So it's just like something that if you want to compete in this sport, you need to be okay with with losing, because probably if you're not like Tia Claire Toomey or well her, you will lose, and that's like you need to be okay with it, or like learn to live with it at least, because it's, yeah, always someone will be better. You can of course like try to beat that someone next time, or that
Right.
should be your goal, to beat beat them next time, but like still,
Really good. Well, this is a perfect segue, and I think it would be a nice way to wrap it up. I have it on my water bottle. This Finnish word, Sisu, I believe that's how you pronounce it. you tell us, because that's from the Finnish culture. I think that ties into competitions, and if we don't do our best or if we don't do well, yeah, like what is what is Sisu? Like, what does it mean, and how do you use that in your training? Because I know you've shared that with me before.
Yeah, it's that's so funny because like I don't think that we Finns even think that Sisu is so big of thing, but always when like especially in CrossFit community, if somebody comes well from States, usually there's they like always
Yeah.
they bring Sisu to the table, and but yeah, it's I would I would say it's somewhere in our roots, like deep in our roots, like comes from probably like surviving the cold winters and surviving like living here in the north. Also comes from like so far as from Winter War II, like the Russian invasion and like winning them and like defending our country. And it's something that like the mindset that you go through the gray wall, which in my case, because I just told you about like trying to go through the wall and finally I hit it, so it's not always a good thing. But like no matter what, you try to like not to like survive, but like you want to give out the best effort and not like letting setbacks define you or like not letting them stop you. Yeah, I don't know, like, and probably it's like something. Sometimes it's like being I don't know the right word for it, but like not arrogant, but like
Resilient or
yeah,
stubborn?
resilient, and then like just like really determined to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. And like even though you're like beaten and you're like really not in a good position, you still like you still go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I would say it's that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's a great. That's why I have it too on my water bottle. It's like I'll see it when I'm training or whatever. It's just like a little reminder, and I think it's a whatever works for people. Whether it's it's part of your culture, or you have like a little word, or you have something that inspires you. But I think that ties in perfectly to like everything we talked about, how to stay the part with training, how to handle when you get beat by someone when in the sport, right? Because you're
Yeah.
competing. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like we didn't talk about, or anything that you would want to share, or anything relative to that?
I don't know. I think we've wrapped up my CrossFit career pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and got some good wisdom. I would say, okay, I asked Joe this. I think this will be a good question. Where can we find Nelli competing next? Where can we watch you or support you? Or
Yeah, that's a good question. At the moment, I'm actually doing the Barcelona qualifiers, which is a competition in Spain, in Barcelona in September.
ooh,
So hopefully there. And then this summer, there is the big Finnish competition in my hometown, Turku Tuomiopäivä, which is a big international competition. There is international athletes as well. So that's like, I would say like my biggest competition for this summer. And then straight after Turku Tuomiopäivä, the next week, I will start to do the World Fitness Project second tour qualifiers. So then hopefully I will be in Phoenix, Arizona in August. Yeah, we'll see.
all
Yeah.
right, that's great. Yeah, so you have a good list coming up, and hopefully someday somehow you and I will continue to do our partner competition. Some
We still have that on how do you say?
Yes, yeah. So we'll get there, but that's awesome. Yeah, so Nelly's great. Support Nelly. I think you'll do
Yeah, you can
awesome.
find me on Instagram.
Yes, on Instagram, check her out. And then Nelly, thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom. I learned a bunch, and I know people will get some value from this, and we just appreciate that. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It was really nice chatting with you, and I'm glad if I was able to like even give one or two good advice for anyone.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.